PropChat, ultimate insights of trading with Sabio.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to PropChat, a podcast where we sit down with people from the trading world to explore the realities behind the charts. When you start out as a trader, you quickly begin seeing invitations to all kinds of trading conferences. But are they real opportunities or just a marketplace of illusions? Today, we're joined by Simon Campbell, someone who has spent over 2 decades working directly with traders, educating them, mentoring them, and observing how they really grow. More recently, Simon has also been behind some of the first conferences dedicated specifically to prop trading. Hello, sir. First of all, I'd like to thank you for accepting our invitation and becoming a guest on our podcast. It's so great to have you here.
Hi, Victor. It's a pleasure. Of course, it's a pleasure to be here.
Great,
Grateful for the
thank you.
opportunity to
Thank you.
speak to you.
So, starting off with a pretty uncomfortable question. You've spent years organizing trading conferences across different countries, with so many events competing for attention. And some of these events are clearly leaning more toward hype, spectacle, ego boosting, much more than real substance. So, in this environment, how can a trader tell which conferences are worth the money and which are just, I don't know, noise?
Well, it's very difficult for traders to make that decision. And I mean, on your point of saying that the conferences are full of hype and so forth, some of that is required. Some of that is why they go because it's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you go to an in-person trading conference is because you want to be motivated, you want to learn, you want
Mm-hmm.
to meet other people that are in the same boat that you are in and understand that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Other people have the same challenges and same problems. But it's good. We're humans. We like to do things in person. And I think that kind of excitement and energy that these events can build with getting 3,000 people in a hall, all with the one objective of learning to trade or make money. Really, that's the
Mm-hmm.
objective is to either whether it's through trading or working. It's the same goal, and it's infectious when you are surrounded by, let's say, peers that are enthusiastic and positive. But I take your point. There has to be substance and there has to be
Mm-hmm.
speakers. The best way to be able to decide on that is to look at the speaker list
Mm-hmm.
and to see who have you got speaking there and how long have they been trading. Are there any verified results that they publish themselves? It's not the only metric, but it's a good suggestion
Mm-hmm.
that these people have been trading the markets for a long time. Educators have been quite often curating a community of traders, and they often get asked this question: "Well, if you're such a good trader, why are
Mm-hmm.
you teaching? Why do you spend your time teaching other people?" And I used to ask that myself of speakers and tutors that we worked with,
Mm-hmm.
and the one thing that they always used to say was, well, it's like anything. You want to keep yourself sharp, and by teaching others, it
Mm-hmm.
helps you remind yourself of the rules that you live by. So there's a certain value that educators get back from the process of teaching others that
Mm-hmm.
helps them in their own trading. So that was and it is a true thing. It's some sounds like a bit of a line sometimes from people that are trying to just sell courses
Mm-hmm.
in education, but there is an element of truth in it. That the good traders never stop learning and meeting and interacting with other traders at whatever level they are, beginning
Mm-hmm.
to advanced, can help them stay sharp. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the people are these events and conferences are all about people, and so by researching the people as much as you can to see who's on the list
Mm-hmm.
of speakers, that will give you a great insight into the level of depth of knowledge that will be available on the event. But they're good fun as well.
Uh-huh. So, for you as a professional, the main thing, the most important thing is the list of the speakers, right?
The list of speakers, the content, the core agenda, and the variety of subjects that are to be
Mm-hmm.
discussed is the most important thing. There are quite obviously seminars and presentations at expos that are sales presentations dressed up
Hmm.
as education. So that is goes with the territory. Most traders and attendees can recognize that. And actually, in some cases, it's exactly what they want. They
Hmm.
want to learn about this new trading platform. They want to learn about a new broker, prop firm,
Hmm.
whatever it is. So there's a place for that. There's also a place for unbiased discussion about the markets, and there's also a place for showcasing inspirational traders who have made it, who have
Hmm.
actually cracked the code, if
Hmm.
you like, because putting them on the stage, put them in the spotlight, particularly if they're women traders, they can inspire a whole demographic of women traders
Hmm.
because they see them on the stage, and it helps you think if they can do it, I can do it.
Hmm.
So I like that. I think
So,
these expos should
uh,
cater for all. Yeah.
in your opinion, what's one question a trader should ask themselves before buying a conference ticket, and one question they should ask themselves after leaving the conference?
Before asking themselves, I think they should be quite clear on what it is they're going for.
Hmm.
Most people would put their hands up and admit that they don't know how to trade through all environments, what assets, and they're also going to these conferences. Don't forget to learn about the new trading opportunities, the new assets that they can be trading, or the different instruments that there are for them to trade. So they should really come with some sort of preset notion of what it is
Hmm.
they want to achieve. For a lot of these prop firm events now will offer the chance to get a free evaluation account or giveaway, and
Hmm.
that's great because it's a great stepping stone for people to be able to trial the market. It's something that's been around for ages, and that's a good benefit of going to these expos. You will get a lot of free incentives and bonuses and things in the goodie bag but they can all help you get started and get you into the mind of trading and expose you to the education and just expose you to the way that traders think of work, what tools they use to analyze the markets, what brokers they use, what platforms work best, and how they control their psychology, which is becoming one of the most important features of a trader that wins or loses, is the trader that can discipline himself to keep being consistent in the markets. And that takes a particular mindset. So having a clear picture of what you want to learn from the conference, but also being open to absorbing other features and other products and other ideas that you pick up at the conference is important. And then when you leave, I think you said question about after you leave would
Yeah.
be to be able to make sense of what it is that you've learned at the conference. We've introduced recordings for that very purpose at our prop trading expos. We're doing Dubai in a couple of months and then London again in the autumn. And last year, the event was so busy. We had 2,000 people in London at the event.
Mm.
And we had the main stage, the day trading stage, the Traders University, and the industry stage. And people said, "Oh, I can't go to everything, Simon. How can I possibly go to everything?" Well, this is why we've decided this year to record all the stages. So if you're a VIP ticket holder, you will be able to go away and take away the recordings. So everything you didn't see live, you can catch up with at home on the replays. But it's a lot. But to go home and sit on the train on the way home and just even if it's one or two small nuggets of advice that you heard from someone on the stage, that can make a change. It can make or break your trading, and even the smallest bit of information can keep you up to date. And of course, connect with the other traders that you meet there. Connect with them through the apps. A lot of the expos have apps where you can connect with all the other delegates, because I think that's important for keeping yourself going. We're all trading at home. We're all sitting more or less alone without Zoom and so forth. But just having a small community to be part of can be really, really important
Mhm.
just keep you motivated. Because when the going gets tough, everybody's in the same boat, right? So it's nice to know that you're not alone, as always.
Hey, let's be honest. Offline events are rare moments in a trader's life. Most of the time, trading is quiet, individual, and lonely work. But not if you're in the Sabio Academy. At the Academy, we offer dozens of courses created by professional traders, each diving deep into a specific topic, from strategies and risk management to psychology and execution. And if learning on your own isn't enough, you can work with a mentor and have live conversations about your strategy, your mistakes, and what's really holding you back. Explore the Academy for structured learning and real feedback, day by day. Sir, I guess that some traders who's watching us right now, they might wonder, why should I even bother with conferences at all? I can trade alone, learn online, manage my own process. What need do conferences satisfy that trading itself can't? What happens psychologically that doesn't happen when they're trading alone?
It's a trust thing
Hmm.
is one of the most important benefits of attending an in-person conference, particularly when you're setting out as a trader and you will be surrounded by offers from companies online offering you access to various tools and services and broking platforms, so forth. How do you go about choosing which companies to work with? That's when an expo and a conference can make a big difference, where you can meet people. You can meet the founders of these prop firms at these expos face to face. And although it's not 100% guarantee, it's a good measure
Hmm.
of seeing if you're aligned with this company, you like the personality of the management, and it gives you some modicum of comfort that you will be working with a good firm, which is a fair and proper firm with a code of conduct. They're happy to be at the expo. They're happy to meet their customers face to face. That speaks volumes in an industry where it's all online, all websites. You are putting your trust in these people, not only to safeguard your funds in your account, but also to safeguard your time that you invest in all this trading with a
Hmm.
prop firm. So I strongly believe that being able to just to meet face to face with these firms and to meet face to face with the other traders that are working with these firms can put you a long way down the line in terms of building a relationship and feeling quite good about making a decision to trade with them. And particularly important as we move forward, perhaps away from the traditional prop firm evaluation challenge model into a more longer term partnership with the trader, that will
Hmm.
be ever more important. So face to face, very important.
As far as I know, sir, you live between Dubai and London, two global hubs with very different energies. Have you noticed any meaningful differences in how traders from different cultures relate to success, to risk, authority, or maybe failure?
From the two countries, I would say I was in Dubai last week for the IFX Expo. Although I don't live
Hmm.
there full time, we are doing our event there in April, the Dubai Forex and Dubai Prop Trading Expo. But last week was amazing. The I would say that the traders in Dubai I met were a little bit more decisive.
Hmm.
They tended to make a decision on a firm, and we're just going to go with it. I was quite surprised. The decisiveness. This right. This looks good. We'll do it. There was deals being done on the day,
Hmm.
which is great. I think in London, perhaps people still take a little bit more suspect, sort of do a little bit more research into the firm before. The demographics were slightly different. London was slightly younger, um, but again, quite a lot of similarities. So I mean, not a huge disparity between them both. Dubai
Hmm.
was a bit hotter, let's say.
But it seems like London guys are younger but more conservative in some way.
that that was I haven't conducted research the
Hmm.
whole thing. It's just my take from walking around and speaking to
Hmm.
our event last year included people that were new and young into the prop trading world, but it also brought a lot of people that have come from other sort of FX trader
Hmm.
shows. So these people already trade their own live accounts and were coming to the expo to find out about prop.
Hmm.
So you had a mixed crowd, and definitely the people that trade on live accounts
Hmm.
were intrigued to find out about what was going on in the prop world and what was happening there. Um, Lots of different rules and regulations. No FCA regulator, which meant that you have to really look at the firm and make a decision yourself based on other metrics, which is like the face-to-face thing, the testimonials from other people that trade with the firm, their educating side. Um, so they all point towards going and meeting the firms face to face if you can. And London was great. It's a very busy place. I get the impression that the reason it does so well in London is because the regulation's been quite hard for
Hmm.
retail investors and traders in the last since the ESMA regulations came in I think 2018. um, a lot of traders still wanted higher leverage, and so they went offshore to other brokers offshore. But then this prop industry, this sort of modern prop industry, grew up,
Hmm.
and I think to fill the space, which makes trading inaccessible for a young person without any of their own capital. How did they get started? They're quite sharp. They're used to dealing with charts, and they're used to building strategies and back testing. They've got some fantastic, skillful traders. But if they don't have the benefit of a parent that can give them the money, or I mean, how do they do that without starting to trade with too small an account and then taking too high risks and then blowing up the account? That's what's not fair. That's what prop trading can offer, which is a great benefit. And it's something that should be nurtured because it sort of democratizes trading.
Hmm.
And I think it gives that whole new generation the ability to learn how to make an income for themselves through trading. Not to say it's easy. The same win-loss ratios still apply. 80,
Hmm.
90% people lose, but it doesn't stop people trying because there are that 10%, 5%, whatever, that can actually make it work. And that's what people keep building towards. That's what keeps them
Hmm.
going. And then that's why the conferences are good because it is nothing more, as I'll go back to my earlier point, it's nothing more inspiring than actually meeting face to face someone you've seen on Instagram. You see them face to face. It does inspire you. It does keep you think, I've got to keep going. If I keep going, I will get this. It's
Hmm.
consistency. And that's the benefit of these conferences. That's why I enjoy it. I mean, I've done the conferences for 20 years, but
Hmm.
I have seen people come through one year as a complete beginner. The next year, they've opened an account with a broker and they're starting to trade.
Hmm.
2 or 3 years down the line, it's fantastic. They're coming in, smart clothes, a nice haircut. And it gives me some satisfaction to think, well, I've done that because I've introduced them. They came along, they met a mentor at the show, someone they resonated with. They've picked up a relationship with one of the brokers or the prop firms. All the pieces come together, but it's lovely when they come and say, it all started, Simon, when I came to the event because I just saw this person on stage and that led to a conversation. And it's amazing how people's lives can be improved through trading. Financial trading is the best thing that's happened um, for many, many years. But it's all about just forming the right connections. And it's not a one size fits all world. People have different objectives, they have different lifestyles, different goals, and different timelines. So you must find a way of trading and a way of making the money that fits with your lifestyle. That's something important as well. So you meet people that align with that.
It seems like people often leave conferences feeling energized and motivated, but how can they make it last? How can inspiration lead to real growth and not just disappear by Monday?
That's a very good point. That's a great question, and it's something I don't know what the statistics are. That is it 80% you lose within the first day of attending a course or workshop. Um, but it's the small nuggets, and I guess by keeping involved in a community can keep you going. Because yes,
Mhm.
the live event comes, takes place, and then it moves on, and you're back at home, back at your desk on the Monday morning. So keeping contact with the people that you meet is a great way to do that. It is hard. I think this is always a challenge with trading, is trying to
Mhm.
keep yourself involved with other people. People that enjoy it will do well at trading. If you enjoy talking to traders and you enjoy the whole process, I think you have to have some kind of appreciation for the fact that, is this work
Mm.
that you're doing? I think there's a lot of imposter syndrome goes on with trading. People think it's too easy. Hang on, how all of a sudden getting a check for $3,000 didn't really do much, and did I work for that? Right? So you've got to be able to appreciate that it's a valid method of converting your time into money, and also enjoy some of the interaction that people get from talking about trading will help you. So if you can develop an interest in the whole science and the technology and the strategies and the human behavior behind trading, there's a massive element of human behavior which drives the markets. And this is where people are constantly fascinated by it. Um, Technical analysis, charting. If it was so straightforward, the computers would just do it all, but it's
Mhm.
not. There's still a massive amount of human involvement there. The Fibonacci levels, they all behave on levels that humans see support and resistance. So and try to get ahead of what the market's doing, what other people are thinking. It's that fear and greed psychology. It's it's you against the market. It's not the market. It's you against other humans. So there's a constant fascination for most people. The psychology of trading, um, endlessly fascinating. If you can pick it up and just use a small part of it to make some money for yourself, then you think I think you become fascinated in it more and more. Um, that's the way forward. But it is hard to keep motivated sometimes, particularly if you have a run of bad trades. How do you get back in without doing all the mistakes, the revenge trading and the doubling down, and all these things that traders do? How do you keep yourself motivated, but while staying within the rules and staying uh, conscious of the risk management side of trading? It is hard.
Mhm.
So no one, I would never say that trading is easy. It's hard for all these reasons I think that we talked about.
Mhm. All right. Speaking of your personal experience, sir, in all of these 20 years that you spent in the game, have you ever seen a trader's performance improve directly because of a conference? And if yes, what exactly changed for them?
Oh yeah, yeah, lots and lots and lots. There's the conference is connecting people with the products and the services and the education that they need in order to become successful. If you think about trading as a business,
Mhm.
which is a good way to approach it, in fact, because you do have certain costs, you have certain suppliers that you need to make the business run, and you need to be able to execute and trade and all these sort of things. So coming to the conference, the expo, can help you select the best suppliers and the best tools in order to make your business work. And I've seen people coming in to the conference as beginners, as I said before, become quite proficient in trading over 1 to 2 years. But not even that. I've seen them to go on to then setting up their own funds, setting up their own prop firms, their own brokerages. So I've seen a lot of big success stories, um, and I know the genuine ones versus the ones that hire the Ferraris for the day for the Instagram photos. But no, generally, if there wasn't success stories, I don't think the market would survive on sort of hype alone. There has to be that real side of success, and it's very rewarding when you see people coming back and they attribute it to coming to the show. So it's good. It's what we do. I am nothing if but an aggregator, if you like, of clever, wise heads that have been trading and are happy to impart their own insights and knowledge with others. Put them all in a room for a couple of days, and you just let it happen on its own. You don't need to do much more than that. But if you have got the right people there, the right speakers with the right attitude, it will be enormously helpful for people. It's all about connections as well. So forming the right connections can really help.
Mhm.
But yeah, traders can do really well really quickly nowadays. That's one thing that strikes me. I think the time from starting to becoming profitable is getting shorter and shorter all the time.
Mhm.
With particularly with prop trading, it allows you access to much larger accounts and larger leverage. So that could be a good thing, but it can also be something that's more difficult to manage.
Mhm.
But mm,
All right, but have you ever seen students who looked average but ended up outperforming more confident, louder peers? And if you have, what exactly did they do differently?
right, yes. Susan, Susan, I forget her surname. Susan was probably your most unlikely trader.
Hmm.
She was English and she had lived in Vanuatu for many years, returned to the UK, but had learned trading while there. So she was a middle-aged woman with two children at
Hmm.
university, and she wore a sort of a knitted hat, a raincoat. It wouldn't be out of place in the library. Was very humble and didn't have any of this trader ego at all,
Hmm.
and yet she followed a system that she learned. It wasn't prop trading, by the way. This was she was a short-term trader, but she
Hmm.
traded stocks. But she developed the system and stuck to it, and she did build up over the course of I think about 5 years a very substantial portfolio, and she compounded the uh, the investment returns,
Hmm.
and it was amazing to see how she didn't become affected by what she had built up. And she went from, I think, in money terms, I think she started with about £10,000, but she was built up within 5 years. It was 700,000 or so. So
Hmm.
she had selected good stocks. She had managed a portfolio, managed the risk, but it hadn't affected her, and she still lived by the same. A little bit of a Warren Buffett type story, um, and that is the case to me that I thought if you don't let your ego get in your way, it can be helpful because
Hmm.
when she did get a bad trade, she would be able to analyze it and not immediately respond emotionally to it, but be
Hmm.
able to go back and understand why, what she should have done differently, when maybe she should have closed the trade. I mean, Susan was a great inspiration.
Hmm.
She eventually used to start to run small groups for other traders as well in London, and I think people enjoyed that connection they had with her. So she was the most unlikely trader. Nothing at all like the guys that you
Hmm.
see with the Lambos and things like that. Completely different, but nonetheless as successful, if not more
Hmm.
successful. But that dedication that she had, she did enjoy the process, and she enjoyed a mechanical system. I'll say
Hmm.
that. Um, she enjoyed being able to apply a strategy which was mechanical and was quite easy
Hmm.
to apply to different
Hmm.
charts. And that's
If
what
if you
kept her.
had to choose only one quality that she had, which helped her outperform all other more confident and louder students, what would it be? Is that absence of ego, or was that her mechanical ways of trading?
Yeah, I think the absence of ego was definitely up there as a big factor, but
Hmm.
just ahead of that was her attention to detail,
Hmm.
and being able to actually grasp what was going on in the markets and be interested in what she was doing. And what she did was pay attention to the fact that this was a pot of money that she was managing her own fund
Hmm.
effectively, and she never lost sight of that. And that this is when the ego can sometimes get in the way, because some traders will be tempted to go for the big win, go for the big because it's great and you can brag about it and so forth. It's not the way. It's not the way at all. Um, for her, it was always about managing the pot, and she didn't have any ambition to tell other people what she did. It was only when you asked what's happening there that she would tell you. So it was humble about it, but she stuck to the rules, and the consistency was probably something that paid off over the long term. So she wasn't changing strategies from day to day. She stuck to markets that she knew as
Hmm.
well. And the more she traded the market, the more she be able to understand the way the rhythms of the trading day in that particular market, and that helped her. She'd often just do the same trades. She just knew what's going to happen, how the market responds after open, so forth. So it wasn't so much of an analysis. After a while, it became almost second nature for her. So then I guess when she started to put larger money on the trades, that's when she started to believe in herself and believe in the
Hmm.
fact that she could trade, and then the money started to go up. It used
That's
to
so
come
great
down
that
quite
such
quick.
stories
Yeah,
exist.
yeah,
So
it was
inspiring.
great. Hmm.
So
So I think
uh
yeah, there's just all different types, all different types of traders. But that was one story that I really enjoyed.
why do you think prop trading has become such an important topic for traders right now?
I actually thought I was quite late to the market because when I first looked seriously at prop trading, it was 2024, and I guess the market had been booming already for 3 to 4 years before that. I mean, you can go back to the FTMO, kind of started things off in 2014, 15. Um, the reasons I think it's working so well is because it's accessible for people, and it does almost distill trading into
Hmm.
something that people can grasp quite easily. There are a set of rules, there's a chart, there's a market, it goes up and down, and there's kind of safeguards, rails in terms of risk, how much you can lose, how much you can't lose, so forth. So it gives you a set of parameters to learn. And if you can trade within these parameters, which after all are set by the firm to prevent its own risk management
Hmm.
being triggered, it helps you learn the basics of managing money, managing trades, without taking on too much risk. And back in the olden days, shall we say, when you went into trading and you went to a course and they would sit down and they say, right, this is the bit we're going to tell you about technical analysis. Right, now this is the bit we're going to tell you about fundamental analysis. Oh, but you need to know about Forex as well. Oh, you need to know about commodities. How did it all gel together? How did it all make you walk out at 5 o'clock after attending that workshop? Right, this is what I need to do. No, most people used to come out of these workshops more confused than ever before. And I think in some cases, what the prop industry has done is good because it has made it concise, and you can go onto a website and you can see you've got a range of different challenges, range of different markets, and then the various rules for the challenge. It kind of brings you step by step. It holds your hand almost through the process. So I think that's a very positive thing for people to learn to trade. Prop trading is a wonderful tool for education for people to learn at a very reasonable price. The cost of a challenge is sometimes as low as, I don't know, $100, less than that even now. It's a great learning tool. And in fact, I know a lot of educators that work in the business that have started to use prop firms to set up the accounts with their clients, and they can work with them through the challenge phase. They use the prop trading challenge as a learning tool itself. So that's a positive thing. But yeah, I felt I was actually quite late to the prop market, but now I've sort of pulled the curtain back and I've seen the industry that's going on, the innovation that's taking place, and it's exciting. I think it's got a long way to go. I think it will find its place in the financial markets. In not, it will be a legitimate gateway for people to enter the financial markets as traders. I think as we move forward, it will almost become an anathema for people to think about taking £20,000 out of their savings to put it into a CFD account without knowing what to do. First of all, we used to do that routinely with only having maybe a 1 hour course or a 2 day seminar, and we're risking a lot of people's personal money. This way, I think that people from tomorrow would look back on that and think that was crazy. Why would everybody ever risk their own money so much doing something that they're not suitably trained to do? So prop trading kind of reverses the optics and gives them a chance to actually get involved, not without any goal or incentive, because there's the payout. There is a financial incentive. You're not just on a demo account trading theoretical trades. So there is a financial incentive to do it, but it's training you on the way, and it's making you a better trader from all having that experience.
Learning matters most when it's applied under real condition. If you've picked up a solid strategy or a meaningful insight, Sabio gives you a way to put it to work with a funded account of up to $1 million. Pass the assessment, prove your edge, and trade with Sabio's capital, not your own. And if you don't pass, no hidden catch. We cover the costs, and you owe us nothing. We give strong traders the space and capital to perform. Details in the description. Welcome aboard. All right, but why do you think prop trading has become such a big focus only now and not, let's say, I don't know, 10 years ago? What problems in retail trading do you believe prop trading is actually trying to solve?
Well, as I said, the outset, I think the regulation that came into play brought CFD trading out of reach for thousands of traders, potentially talented traders. Now, if we go back to the roots of prop trading, which is proprietary trading, it was a means where some talented traders would be employed by a firm. The firm had the money, the traders had the skill. There was a period of time where the firm would need to have faith and trust that the traders could prove themselves to make their money grow.
Mm-hmm.
So this partnership resulted, and the profits of that trader trading the firm's capital would be split, negotiated split with the firm. Um, that was a great thing, but it can't be done on such a wide scale um, without all going into great detail on the mass market. So that's where the modern prop trading challenge has sort of evolved, whereby you pay an amount of money to prove yourself various test challenges, and to more or less an extent it can be fairly easy to pass, but you're still being allowed to trade the firm's capital, but within certain risk parameters. So you're not going to lose a huge amount of money for the firm. It's a great way that they've created this platform, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just allowing traders to come through, and the firms that are then analyzing the data of the traders that they work with and taking the skillful traders sometimes up to the next level. The sky's the limit. They can partner up, and there's a great career for a trader there without actually risking their own capital. So that's the benefit of it.
All right, sir. Let's talk a bit about mindset change. From your mentoring experience, how does a trader's mindset change when they move from trading their own small account to trading someone else's capital, big capital?
I know traders that have done this, so I don't do this. So I'm not speaking from personal experience here. Um, but I do know that the stress levels can go up massively
Hmm.
from trading your own small account. And particularly when it was being done in a regulated account,
Hmm.
um, there were a lot of what's the word, obligations that the trader would have to fulfill. So I did see some, and there were speakers actually at the expos that are organized that would become good traders themselves, and quite often they would connect with people at the shows that would say, "Well, we've got capital. Would you like to manage it for us?" And they would initially they would think it's a great opportunity, but what goes with it is stress. Um, it's like any company growing up, taking on shareholders and investors. The stress becomes there to perform, and they start to want more returns, so push for higher returns.
Hmm.
There's a similar parallel, I think, in the trading world there. So it's trading other people's funds is yeah, there's definitely some more challenges with it. Um, that's for sure.
Sir, I believe our viewers would be happy to know what are the most inspiring or shocking prop trader stories you've heard at your events and classrooms.
Ooh. Let me think. The obviously we've heard about Susan already,
Yeah, season
who's
one was good.
the
Yeah.
the quiet librarian who was just created this huge account through diligently applying the same strategy and just being a consistent trader. Um, I guess the young guy, he's called Tom. I can't remember. Tom. Oh no, sorry, Tom. So Tom Gibbs is someone I met recently, and he was the highest payout from another prop firm.
Hmm.
Um, More recently, now I met him in Prague 2 weeks ago. We had dinner, and he was fascinating because, again, like Susan, he actually didn't have the ego. He had come from a non-financial background, done various jobs, but had started to trade 6 years previously. And about the first 4 to 5 years were not profitable, let's say, to the point that, I mean, he's only about 28 now, um, to the point where his mum was constantly at him saying, "You give up this trading thing, Tom. It's,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to work." But he did stay with it, and he started to get a little bit of success. And he said it was the small wins that actually made him convinced that he could keep going with it. And he went on to, I think in the last, I think it was the last 18 months, he had about $300,000 in
Mm-hmm.
sort of verified payouts, which is great. So that was that. And again, he was diligent. Some of the same things, he stuck to his rules, and he understood a lot more about himself as a result. He started to recognize when he shouldn't trade, some of the mistakes he made when he was in the wrong frame of mind, and his girlfriend had walked out on him and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
These were times to avoid the markets. So that was interesting to think. I'm not trying to think about it. There was another. There has been another Tom. Funny enough, maybe it's the name Tom. Maybe Tom's a lucky name. Um, he had traded. Oh, I think it was Bitcoin. I think it was the crypto
Mm-hmm.
thing, and completely. We used to do the show in the spring and the autumn, and between the spring and the autumn, he had won and lost more than, I think, £1 million worth of Bitcoin. So yeah, you see the people that go up and down, but he was still there. He still recognized that the trading world gave him the opportunity to make unlimited funds, really unlimited returns. So he wasn't discouraged from continuing, um, but probably linked up with a prop firm after that to access funds. But yeah, I mean, these stories are
Mm-hmm.
all the time. But I think the one thing that ties them together, the ones that sustain the highs and the lows, are the ones that can keep a cool head in the markets without being pressured by outside influence to
Mm-hmm.
impress or perform, to have any unachievable targets placed upon them, and to also be happy with a good return and know when to close out the trade, when to take the profit, um, and not be completely destroyed when the market goes against you. I mean, after all, there's that famous quote: "Is the market has the ability to remain irrational far longer than you can remain solvent," and it goes on, and it's true to this day. So, being able to understand the market is not against you; it's just there all the time. You just take
Mm-hmm.
your bit from the market and walk away. If it doesn't go, come back the next day. It's a whole new thing. Don't go chasing trades, all these things that you hear about. There's an element of truth to them all. It's lots of good advice that floats out there on the internet. Um, so the people that do tend to make it over the long term are hardworking, open to learning, open to accepting their own limits and their own, I don't want to say downsides, but their own limitations. So if you want to understand the more about yourself, and that's what the market will do, it will teach you more about yourself than you probably knew before. But being able to accept that and finding a way to trade that aligns with yourself will be,
Mm-hmm.
I think, ultimately the way to becoming profitable.
But what about the other side? Have you ever seen traders who were very profitable on their own accounts, but eventually failed in prop trading?
I don't have any. Have to be honest, I don't have any examples that I can call to mind of people being very successful with their own accounts and then not being successful in prop trading. Is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen lots of traders who are successful with their own accounts being critical of prop firms. I'll say
Mm-hmm.
that they are critical of some of the limitations that trading a prop account can differ from trading a real account. So you've got different spreads, so forth, and they found that challenging. Um, so, but I'm
All
sure
right,
there
I
are.
see.
I'm sure
Uh,
there are examples, but I can't think of
but
any off the top of my head.
have you worked with traders who were constantly learning, like courses, events, mentors, but still not improving? What was blocking them, and what finally helped them move from consuming to executing?
I think it's always just the risk of repeating myself. It's themselves. It's
Hmm.
their own mindset that needs to be fixed. I mean, because trading is not easy, but it's not that hard either.
Yeah.
There is a process. There are some rules, and there is a market which can be unpredictable. But that unpredictability of the market can be managed. You can manage the probability based
Hmm.
on looking at the price behavior for the last hour, days, months, whatever. And you can manage that. You can spot trends, you can spot turning points. So you're not gambling if you are conducting even just that limited amount of research and analysis. You're reducing your probability of
Hmm.
taking too much risk. The more research and the more analysis you do, you should be able to minimize your risk as much as you can. But the X factor in all that is containing your human desire for greed and
Hmm.
fear on the other side. Fear of losing can mean some people just close out a trade far too early and don't see the profit they have. That's the fear coming in. And the greed is holding on too long. So that human side is what ultimately I think will catch most traders in the end of the day. Um, is they just set aside their own rules and they they disappoint themselves
Hmm.
because they recognize it. Um, but that's the thing, that this is why there is such a big industry
Hmm.
on trading psychology, mindset coaches, and behavioral trading, hypnotherapy, you name it.
Hmm.
Because the trader that has come into the market and lost money initially has to do that to be able to then to sort of understand. Once you understand that it's you that lost the money, it wasn't the market, then the value of being able to manage your own human behavioral psychology is paramount.
Hmm.
That's the only thing. You know what buttons to press. You know what chart to look at. You know what a trend looks like, so forth. But it's just, yeah, it's that managing the trade through and minimizing the risk is the thing. So yeah, trading
Hmm.
psychology is huge.
All right, let's talk about networking. It is usually sold as the main benefit at conferences. There's a belief that being in the same room with pro traders magically changes something. But what actually changes? How does this magic work?
I'm not sure. I'm not
Hmm.
sure, but it does. Um, so we run at the well, we're doing one at the Dubai Prop Trading Expo, and we've run at the London Expo for years. It's an event that I started called the Traders Working Lunch,
Hmm.
and I used to watch our attendees sit in the big seminars and the big stage, and the big traders would be there, tell them what they should be doing and all the rest of it. And someone would put their hands up and ask a question, but it was hundreds of people sitting there. So I started the Traders Working Lunch, which is an opportunity for people to sit down at a round table over lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it very much like a speed dating type of event, to be honest. Each table would have its own expert host,
Mm-hmm.
and they would have about 20 tables, and they would say, look, I specialize in trading gold, or I specialize in crypto, or I specialize for it. Every 15 minutes, the bell would go and everybody would rotate around the tables. But
Mm-hmm.
what this did was you allowed the trader to sit with an expert host and 8 other peers, and they would just engage in an informal, intimate
It's
conversation,
like speed dating in some kind.
just like speed dating.
Yeah.
For the nervous trader that was too nervous to ask what he or she might think was a silly
Yeah.
question in front of hundreds of other people, you got the chance to do that over lunch, or you just had to sit and just absorb the conversation. But it was a different format, and that was where I thought really networking was able to. It was proper networking because there
Mm-hmm.
was business cards sold and there was exchange of information. But it's important for the people to come in to know what they need to get out of it as well. So if you're going to be networking properly, I think you should know what it is you want to get out of the conversation. But that was my attempt to create, and it's been very successful actually. People
Mm-hmm.
do enjoy it. It just gives them that chance to get face to face and meet the people under that more intimate session.
Mm-hmm.
10, 15 minutes, if we ring the bell, you don't have to move. If you're having a good conversation, you stay where you are, finish. But it allows the chance for people to just to get up and circulate and to meet other people.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just one part of what we do on the expo. We've got that event. We've got the big main stage panel discussions where you will hear the industry leaders talk about the big topics of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have the day trading stage where you'll have some successful trader who's just been going for 9 months and he's already seven-figure funded trader. You'll get the guy that's been trading since he was actually working in the city on the pits of the life exchange. Um, but he knows full well that the same psychology that they included then, this still applies now. So this is what we go back to our previous question about the
Mm-hmm.
expo. Why do people attend them? It's for all these reasons. It's for the intimate connections, hearing the big stories, meeting the firms and the product providers face to face, building that trust, and
Mm-hmm.
just generally leaving with a an inspired sort of feeling of you can do it
Mm-hmm.
because you can. You just need the right help, the right people to teach you the ropes, and then
Mm-hmm.
knowing knowing what it is that you don't know is quite an important
Mm-hmm.
reason for going to these expos, because then you'll understand what gaps there are in your own knowledge, and what you can do to fill them and make you a better trader.
All right. Time for some practical advice, sir. In your experience, what's the right way to start a conversation at an offline trading event? Let's say I'm shy. Maybe some tip or a pickup line from a pro.
um, Well, I have my own lines, of course. I don't know if I want to share them
All right. That's
because
fair. Yeah.
they've worked well. Well, I think the best thing you can do is to tell the person on the booth what you trade,
Mm-hmm.
um, how long you've been trading is the first key points I think that someone would need to know about you in order to be able to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk up, yeah, you can say yes. I've been trading for 6 months, mainly the S&P, or but I'm open to learning about something else. And then these are the two things: the duration, that your experience of trading, that you feel. I mean, most people actually are very modest. They'll, oh, I'm still a beginner. I've been trading for 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
but how long you've been trading and what it is you trade, and sometimes to an insight into the time frame. that you trade. These are all three good starters that can get a good conversation started. Either someone will be, oh goodness me, no, I couldn't do that. I just end of day or something. But that will get the conversation going for sure. Um, and then being able to find out what the if it's a booth that you're attending, just to ask them to see why are you different from other prop firms? Why are you different from other brokers? What is it that you can give me as a trader that I'm not getting already with the other firm? And that will allow them the opportunity to get right down to it. So, well, okay, so you know what you're doing, you're trading already, but did you know that you can do X, Y, Z with us that maybe the other firms can't offer you? I want to try and find out that the comparison websites are great as well, to be able to view the whole market of prop firms. You can see at a glance sometimes what differentiates them, but doesn't harm just to approach them on the booth and just ask them what makes you special. Why can you help me trade better than the next guy? So yeah, chat up lines for traders. Um, these are the things. I guess the people do delight in telling their war stories, as they actually call them, as well. People do talk about the big trade, the big loss, but it's all. I think it's therapeutic to share that, and it does demonstrate that if it's a big loss that someone's talking about, a disastrous day they had in the markets, they're talking about it, it means it's actually staying, it's imprinted on them, so they can share the story time and time again because they don't want to make the same mistake again. They don't want to forget. So yeah, exchanging war stories at trading conferences. So maybe we should have a new feature actually. We can have a new feature. Yeah, everybody could submit their worst trading days in the competition to see who's got the biggest loss or the biggest win. That could be interesting.
So I'm pretty positive that you've seen traders who attend conference after conference, year after year after year. So why do some traders keep circling events like this?
Because they continue to enjoy learning and staying up to date with the latest
Mhm,
innovation and the technology in the space, the products and tools that can help them trade smarter, trade sharper. Um, they enjoy mixing with their peers. It's a peer-based activity. It's great to be able to get together with other people um, who are going through the same challenges as yourself or enjoying the same rewards as yourself as well.
mhm,
These are reasons. Education is certainly chief amongst the reasons that people want to attend, and they want to be able to walk away wiser and more informed about the different, not necessarily how to trade, because there's only so much you can learn about how to trade at an expo on a one day where there's hundreds of people moving in and out of rooms and around stalls and booths. But what you will pick up is just this understanding that there are things that you don't understand, these things you would like to learn more about, new topics, new markets, new tools, and you can take away from the conference a nugget of information and then take it home and explore it and research it in your own time. So you won't necessarily get all the full story at the conference, but it will certainly flag up issues and points of interest that you can then take away and research on your own. So I think that's why you keep coming back. You accept that you will never be a completely formed, evolved trader.
mhm,
You always learning, always evolving, no matter how old you are. I've seen people at the shows that in their 70s, even early 80s, are still enjoying the
mhm,
challenge because it doesn't stay the same. the markets change and the politics change in the world. So it's a fascinating area. Can be profitable,
Mhm.
can be more than profitable, can be rewarding in all these different ways, and
Mhm.
put you into a group of people, whether you just meet online and meet once a year at the expo in London, whatever it may be. It's a way of life, and if it's a profitable way of life, then that's a bonus as well. But that's definitely the
Mhm.
reasons we are human and we like to be with other humans.
Have you noticed traders resistant feedback or strategy changes only because it threatens their self image?
I guess there must be um, those that are resistant to change. They become wedded to a strategy. It's almost like investors that would stop picking, they would become sentimental about a stock which had
Hmm.
performed well for them. And you saw that with people invested in Amazon and Apple and so forth.
Hmm.
Um, they would be resistant to sell at any price, because you're emotionally attached to something that's rewarded you. That can be an issue in trading, if the market conditions change. Um, the market for gold has been obviously popular the last year, but it won't always be. So I think you've got to be open to changing and adapting to different market conditions, and not be stubborn, not be too stubborn about things. But I'm not contradicting what I said earlier about being consistent. Um, but you have to be fluid. So
Hmm.
um, keep yourself open. Look at all the different options that are on the table. Look at what other traders are doing as well. Find out what how the market's moving. Who are, just be open to change. And I guess people that do stick rigidly, eventually the market will win. Um, so you have to be to be aware of that.
Hmm. Let's fantasize a bit. If you had to group traders into psychological types that you observed over the years, what types come to mind?
There are obviously the hothead
Hmm.
young traders that want to want to show off and be the big successful traders. And I mean, it's just like the mirror's life, really. I guess you've got the plodders that will just be happy with the system that can reward them with an amount of return that they're happy with for the amount of risk that they take.
Hmm.
And if you can find that sweet spot, I guess it's great because you can just continue to do that. But being too risky is something that you're either going to be very successful and very fail normally quite quickly,
Hmm.
as a result of it. So I think being that kind of young gun trader mentality is not going to be long term. Let's say it's not to say it's
Hmm.
not going to be successful, but it might just be successful short term. The candle that burns twice as bright burns half as long, is it not? Or shines twice
Hmm.
as bright burns half as long. That old that old saying is very true in trading. So yeah, to be consistent, to be fluid, but not to be
Uh-huh.
pressure to share. Social media is one of the big interesting points of trading these days. I guess we didn't have this 10 years ago, even, whereby it's a double-edged sword. I think the pressure to share your trading online can be something that's good and bad. for traders. They feel the pressure to perform and always be posting and saying, look how much I won today, look how much, or they can feel pressure to think, what did I say? I haven't won. But it can also be a tool which keeps them motivated to journal. It's almost like a live vlog journal. The traders that journal have often had better success over the long term because they're
Mhm.
recording their journey. So the social media is becoming the sort of the modern version of the trader's journal, where they can look back and say, well, I had that really bad day or really good day, but it keeps you sharp. A lot of the traders that have their own communities, even just a few hundred followers or friends, it kind of keeps them in that market of sharing and acknowledging what they've done wrong and acknowledging what they've done right. And hopefully, you do more of the right stuff and less the wrong stuff. That's when it should get better, I guess.
And finally, the final question is yours, sir. After everything you've seen, conferences, education, mentoring, and now prop trading, what does a grown up trader actually look like?
A grown-up trader.
Yeah.
They, this is the fun thing about trading, is that there is no version, one version, size, color, gender, anything at all. Traders come from all different walks of life, and it constantly surprises me. And it's an enjoyment to see people from the most surprising corners of life that come along and find their way to financial trading, and find their way to making some money out of it.
Mhm.
And that's the wonderful thing about trading, is that it is agnostic in terms of who can take part and who can be successful. It is open to all, and I think that's one of the most wonderful things about trading. And we should cherish that, and we should enjoy that. But yeah, all the different shapes and sizes, everybody's welcome.
Seems like that's it, sir. So I'd like to thank you for sharing your honest insights. That was a great talk, Simon. Very thoughtful, very inspiring. So thank you and have a great evening.
I'll see you at an expo soon. Cheers. Thank you very much again. Bye
Goodbye,
bye.
sir.
PropChat. Ultimate insights of trading with Sabio.
So if this episode resonated with you, give it a like and let us know in the comments what you think about trading conferences. Maybe share some fun or some ugly stories about your conference experience. Subscribe to PropChat here or listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And by the way, it's a great day for trading. Just think about it. See you very soon.